Go.
Are you going to ask the question?
All right, so, Mama, explain to us what the graveyard spread is and why, say, in the Neolithic times, people living to the average age of 35 is actually quite misleading.
Okay, so I think that what's confusing here, what's leading to this confusion, is that in vernacular speech or sort of everyday speech, the word average has a different meaning. It means normal, typical, what's expected, what's common. You know, if someone is, pretty good at a sport, you might say, yeah, they're average, kind of in the middle. And so when people hear the average age was 35, then they're thinking, oh, that means that 35 was a common age to die at. It was frequent people to die at that age, or it was normal. But that's not what it means in mathematics. In mathematics, average, think back to, elementary school for a lot of us. You add up all of the numbers. Let's say you had 100 people in a population, and if you want to find the average lifespan of let's just say they're all dead at this point for the sake of this example, you would add up all 100 ages, and then you would divide by 100. So you would get a number that is the average, but that doesn't mean that it's common. So, for example, what we tend to see in human populations, unless there's some sort of extreme extenuating circumstance like a natural disaster or an epidemic that causes an unusual excessive amount of deaths at one period of time. But if you're looking just kind of over time in populations, what you see is what's called the graveyard spread. And that means that humans, and actually probably like other animals, but we're talking about humans have high mortality in infancy. So the idea is that once a child lives past the age of 1 or 2, then they are likely to lead whatever it would be considered a long life in that particular community of people. And so if the average age is 35, what that tells us is probably we had quite a few deaths around, between age 0 to 2, probably around, age 1, if you want to be average in that sense, and 70. So if you average that together, if you took basically 0 years and 70 years, and you average it, you're going to get about 35 years. That does not mean that anyone actually died at the age of 35. It doesn't mean that it was common to die at or around the age of 35. It just means that if you add everything up, you get 35. But chances are, almost all of the deaths in this community would be clustered either right after birth or around age 70. Now, of course, different communities will have different general lifespans. There might be some where few people live past 55. There might be some where most people live to 75. It's going to vary. But that's what average means. Average is not the same thing when you're talking about mathematics.
Yeah, so I would like to make one note here, and that is part of this is the difference between what people call an average is the arithmetic mean, which is different than the median. Those are two very different things. The median will get you a far better, more accurate thing here.
Yeah, in general, there's quite a few words around statistics and statistical analyses, and these words, they tend to make sense if you're studying statistics or if you're doing data analysis. They all can be very helpful, but that's usually only for either the people who are doing it are usually maybe sociologists, mathematicians. They're people who are familiar with statistics, and they have specific needs for different variables or different things to measure. But most of us, if we are not, PhDs in paleontology, if that's the right word, we don't need to have all of these different words. We don't need to be using all of them, and it can get really confusing to people if we don't have a background in statistics.
All right, cool. I think let's end the video now.